Looks like we're in the right place. Oh yeah. Oh, there he is. There's Big Dennis. Still filthy, but fixed. So the guys have really gone above and beyond with this one. He actually just gave me a set of brake pads. While he's here, there were some loose bolts in the bull bar. Suspension needs to be raised a bit more, so they wound the torsion bars up. They actually gave me the bash guard set. They were like, look, you're doing some stuff, you know, thanks for the shout outs. And they just gifted me a bloody set of bash plates, which is really nice. That's weird. I used to have a shackle on there. They gave me a new fuel tank because my fuel tank was cracked. They've done all the timing gear. They've done, oh, there we go. Oh, some presents here. They've done so much work. The towie put the spare wheel in the boot because it must have had height restrictions or something. Apparently it's on like a split level. That's a bit weird about the shackle. Might have to buy a new one of them. That's just what happens when you're not with your car for a while, I guess. But yeah, I'm stoked to have it back, to be all fixed up. So in the end, the harmonic balancer bolt snapped, and then one of the gears moved, I believe, in the timing cover. Timing gears moved, and that snapped the crank angle sensor, which then caused the ECU to kill the engine, like to stop the engine and wouldn't run. So that's what happened. But yeah, it's all had a big birthday, all new timing belt, water pump, all kinds of things. Yeah, so look, budget wise, it's pushed the budget out a little bit, but so it's about $3 and a bit grand of repairs. And then towing here, which was over $1,000, was actually covered by my RAC coverage. They even paid for my hotel. Sorry, not my hotel, sorry, my flight. So they covered like $1,400 worth of stuff. So yeah, that $300 a year is worth its weight in gold in situations like this. So I would say heaps of suspension bushings needed to be done as well. So a lot of it was maintenance. I'd say probably $2 grand of like maintenance work on it, and then like $1,000 of like it broke. So you know, is what it is. It's a 20-year-old car. Didn't expect it to be perfect, and I'm stoked to be back in it. Now I have a huge drive ahead of me, so I think I'm going to hit the road.
Several days later.
Welcome back to Fire to Fork. This is my van. He's called Dennis Donuto.
It's the vibe of it.
Dennis Donuto, the Delica. It is a 2002 Mitsubishi Delica with a 3-litre V6. Now I'm going to take you through a bit of a tour of this thing, how I've set it up, what's worked and what hasn't worked. So I think we'll start at the front. And please excuse my voice. I've got a bit of a chest infection. It's very annoying. It's not coronavirus, don't worry. So we've got an X-Rox bar and a King's winch. Both have worked perfectly, actually. They've pulled me out a few times. The bar, well, it's just a bar. It's got better clearance than a bumper, and it holds the winch, and it's doing that perfectly. I did get a couple of loose bolts on the corrugations up to Cape York, which is fair enough, that happens. Yeah, snorkel is, I don't know, some no-name brand, one from Delica Garage. Worked perfectly. It has been underwater lots, and it hasn't let anything in. Under the bonnet, there is absolutely nothing other than diff breathers. They've worked perfectly, although I haven't actually checked my diff oil, so they might have leaked, but I don't think they have. New wiper blades, well worth doing. On top, roof rack. This is an Ocam roof rack. Now, I was looking for a cheap roof rack, and I was looking at the King's ones, and they're $600. I couldn't find anything secondhand for a Delica. Then I found Ocam. So the King's ones are $600 and they're rubbish and they're steel. They're absolute garbage racks. This one, $650, aluminium, huge weight saving, doesn't rust, and actually really good quality. I know they're good quality because it's actually what I ran on my 80 series for
8 years, and it was great. It never let me down. I thrashed the thing, absolutely thrashed it. I've continued to thrash this one, and it's perfect. It's, yeah, if you're on a budget, that's a great option. It's just a mesh, but yeah, I've got my spare wheel up there. Now my spare wheel, I couldn't fit underneath. It's because I've gone to a 31 inch, so I'm running a Toyo AT3. Which, by the way, has been fantastic. Lots and lots of different terrains. And I'll go into why I chose that in a second. Yeah, so because I went to a 31 inch, I can't fit in this factory spot underneath, so it had to go on the roof. I couldn't fit it inside.
All right, so with respect to fitting the tyre underneath the car, the problem we had is that the factory tyre is about a 27 inch and there's a tow bar in the way, so we couldn't make any room. And I just got to give a massive shout out to the guys at Alitech in Townsville. They figured this all out for me, but more importantly, this all happened actually while I was away. Now, it's really, really hard to get someone decent to have a look at your car and to fit stuff and to go and pick it up from a farm and all this stuff while you're not in the same state. The guys at Alitech went, picked up my car, figured out, sent me all the photos, showed me what we could fit, what we couldn't fit, fitted the roof rack, which arrived the afternoon before I arrived. So they just, as soon as it dropped on their door, they fitted the roof rack straight away. They did a really, really good job. Now, them fitting a roof rack and fabricating a wheel carrier thing is not what they usually do. In fact, if you have a look on the screen now, you'll see these guys are serious craftsmen, and they went above and beyond and did something that, yeah, it just wasn't in their normal wheelhouse at all. They didn't ask any questions, they just got on with it, which was really, really good. The other people I really need to mention are Full Drive Central in Townsville. Those guys, they fitted me in with no warning at all. They got me the tyres, Toyo sent out the tyres, and they fitted them for me, sold me a rim. They helped me do the wheel alignment, helped me do some clearancing, all that kind of stuff. They were really, really, really good. And they also put me in touch with Alitech. So if it wasn't like, all of this stuff was happening behind the scenes while I wasn't there. And if I hadn't have had the help from these guys, it would have been an absolute nightmare, and honestly probably would have taken me about 5 extra days to get everything ready. So yeah, massive thanks. The people in Townsville I've come across have just been awesome.
Behind that I've got some Max Tracks, which I actually haven't used yet, but they're just good insurance. Wrap by Wrap Cartel, which is nothing to do with the trip, everything to do with the fact that I wanted to put a sticker on it. Now, the tyres. These are a Toyo AT3, so they're a brand new tyre. I went for an all-terrain as opposed to a mud terrain for a pretty simple reason, actually. This car has a monocoque chassis, which means it doesn't have a frame and then rubber mounts and then a body. The body is the chassis. So that means that you feel a lot more. That means when you go on corrugations, it sends the vibration straight into the body. You don't have that insulation between it. When you run a mud terrain, they make noise. Even the quietest muddies are still quite noisy. You will feel that twice as much in a monocoque car compared to a body on frame car. So because of that, I went for an all-terrain for on-road comfort. And off-road, an all-terrain was still going to perform very well. I was in pretty slippery, slick mud yesterday with Red Dirt Diary, and it performed really well. So it was definitely a little bit slidier than the girls who had their mud terrains on, same brand, just Toyo mud terrains. And yeah, so the reason I went Toyo is because they're bloody tough. I've had Toyos for years and years, and they're great. Now, in the front is an absolute mess. Hold on. Yeah, absolute mess. So this is a jacket, this is a shell, that is a GoPro mount, blah, 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 camera bag, whole bunch of cords and stuff, my wallet, sunnies, phone, my Garmin Overlander, which now you don't need that. I brought that because I own it and it's actually out of the Prado, and I just bought a second mount for it. I did that just because I want all my pins and everything in one location, so yeah. I'm just using a handheld, so I'm using the GME, I can't remember, I'll put the model number on the screen. It's their biggest, most powerful handheld, so it's 5 watt, and that's been great. On the floor I've got, God, everything. Bottle of water, a mug, that's a code reader in case I break down again. This is my drone charger, which I Velcroed this sort of stuff to the floor. And then this is the powerhouse, which is the Klarman Automotive lithium battery box. It's got an Amptron battery in it, a RedArc 1225 BCDC in the back, and then a RedArc 350 watt inverter on top. And this thing powers everything. It's got good screw-in plugs for your fridge and stuff. This thing here is a Satechi 72 watt USB-C charger. I can actually power my laptop off that. I can charge my drone with it. That's really, really good. That means I don't need to run the inverter as much. Nothing wrong with running the inverter. I mainly use this for filming because my lights for filming are 240 volt. So that's more YouTuber related than like a necessity, I guess. But if you want a good power system that takes 10 minutes to install, those things are awesome. Underneath here, I've just got that's my solar cable, and I've got some my winch controller and things underneath the seat. Tire deflator, Far North Queensland book. Next, this is where things start to get interesting. So, Dometic, Waco, whatever you want to call them, CFX65. I got this because it was cheap. It was $400, and I got it on Marketplace, and it's actually performed a lot better than I thought. I've broken a lot of Wacos. There's no way around that. I just have. This thing was just the $400-est fridge that had a freezer and somewhat fit. So inside, it's got like a lid over the freezer, which I really like, this thing. And then just got some drinks and ingredients and whatever in there. Tire gauge, some Bushmans. Under here, in here, I'm just going to pull this fridge out actually, so you can see. Get my suitcase out of the way. This is the thing, because I live in WA, I've actually got to travel with a suitcase. You can't have your clothes all done nicely. It's really annoying. So I'm in Victoria at the moment, but I fly into this car. There's my little car bin bag. Here I've got an XTM compressor. I've gone a little bit further and grabbed and actually made an Anderson plug end for that so that it plugs in properly to the battery box, so I don't have to get out and charge it. Oh, that's my alarm. A couple of handheld radios for a giveaway. An old bottle of rum. Soda Stream, because I'm a fancy boy and I love soda water. It's broken in half, which is good. Oh, that's where that is. I've been looking for that. That's my camera charger. Some baby shoes, because my sister gave them to me. This is my grill plate for the fire. As you can see, it's an absolute mess, but I wanted to show you the real, how it actually is. Banner for the full drive shows, not relevant. Osprey for the full drive shows, not relevant. Under here, Barco toolkit. This is I think an 87 piece or something, 81 piece maybe. This has been great. I have broken down and broken things a few times. It's got everything I need. And these things cost less than the Chinese knockoffs, honestly. They're actually really good. I don't know how they do them so cheap, but they do. Behind that, now, originally in this car, I actually had all cheap Bunnings boxes, and they sucked. I broke every single box in the car. One of them was 100% my fault. I ran it over. All the other ones broke from just me pulling them out, or just corrugations broke them. So I thought, bugger that, I'm gonna get something good. And I went and got Wolfpack Pros. So Wolfpack Pros, there's a tools one under there. And I just keep that Barco set on top of that. Under here, I do actually have something naughty, and that is a gas burner for just in case I get stuck somewhere and I can't have a fire and I need to eat. Because I don't know the East Coast well enough to trust myself to not carry a gas burner, because I just know that I'll end up somewhere that I need one basically. Whereas in WA, I know where I can have fires and I know where I can't. So I'm very comfortable to travel with that one. I have done for the last 5 years. Some mother's milk, obviously. That's my filming light for cooking episodes. And this is my recovery gear, which is covered in mud, as it should be. That is just a cheap XTM kit. Nothing wrong with it. Weighs a ton, that's the most annoying thing about it, compared to like the new modern ropes and stuff that are really nice. But budget, sometimes stuff's heavy. Behind there is a box of books, so we won't worry about that. This is my compact bri. I don't use this when I'm camping in the van usually. This is for four-wheel drive shows mainly, because it's not part of the budget, I guess, challenge. So technically it is in there, but I'm not using it. Camp oven, same one I use in WA. It is a Southern Metal Spinners camp oven in a nice blacksmith bag. I got this because it's the best camp oven out, and they're like 60 bucks. Inside there is a billy. This is my wood bag. This thing's great. It's huge. I actually got one size too big, but it's a Kelmat PVC wood bag, and it is brilliant because I can get all my wood, and instead of having to load it all up on the roof and then tie it down and all that kind of stuff, I can load it all into this and I can throw it on my bed, and it keeps everything clean. So that is really convenient. I can't tell you how convenient it is being able to carry like sort of 80 kilos of wood in your car, not on top of your car. It's super convenient. And it, yeah, as I say, it keeps everything clean. It's a dry bag. So it rolls up like this and then locks. Also good for rubbish. I'm probably gonna get a smaller one for a rubbish bag. This is a collapsible bucket, which sucks. I got it from Kmart, I think, and it is broken. It leaks. That's my towel. Second jerry can. Bunnings table, simple, and that straps down to the fridge usually, but I've obviously just taken the fridge out. Now go around the back. XTM recovery point from Supercheap with a shackle. Now, this height was a complete coincidence, and it's brilliant. So the bed is a homemade job by me. It is just a piece of ply with some legs. Tripod. I've got my Helinox chair with rockers in here. This is a little bag of straps. I've got my little Helinox table, and I've got my Red Arc 300 watt solar panel. That has been, I need a grunty solar panel because with running all the 240 volt stuff, I do actually manage to run this battery down quite low, even though it's lithium. Now, 4 wolf packs, so I've got 5 in total. Poorly labeled with a paint pen, and they're covered in mud because we're doing a recovery yesterday and they got covered in mud. That's what happens. But they're water sealed and dust sealed, so I don't care. Pantry, has pantry items in it. Kitchen, all my stuff in it. It's actually soaking wet, that's okay. So these all just pull out easily. I'll run you through what is my my budget friendly camp kitchen in another video. That's not for now. Water jerry, it works quite well. You can just kind of hang it out there and sort of access it. It's not the best solution. I want to put a hose or something on it. There's that video on Seek Adventure where he does that $15 mod. I'm definitely going to do that for this so I can access it. That's the box of books behind there. Shovel for digging holes. That's how you go to the toilet in the bush. Don't judge me. Booze and bits. That's essentially all. If you want to see all the modifications I did to the van, you can go and have a look at the first video. It's the one with the blanked out Deleca on the thumbnail, and that will show you all the stuff we did, including like the lift and all that stuff, and why I did each thing. But yeah, it's a very simple setup. Oh, very important. No, sorry, there are two extra things I'm going to show you. One of them are these screens. I got these from Deleca Garage, and in hot environments, these are brilliant. So these go up around here. So it goes across here, and it's also got screens for the front windows. And in hot environments, particularly up in the Cape, I use this all the time. This was fantastic because it's a nice mesh, so you get airflow through the van, and you just leave this open. It was great, even in the rain, because it was hot but occasionally raining. It was really, really good because you still get protected. And then in the front, I've got a cheap 12-volt fan from Supercheap, which you can see on the headrest just there. And I use that every single night in the Cape because it's hot and humid, and getting a bit of airflow through the van is really, really good. And it draws about 0.5 amp, so nothing, honestly nothing. You can run that on any dual battery system. In fact, I'd borderline say you can run it on your starter battery. It's so efficient. They're about 30 bucks. They are loud, so you have to enjoy sleeping with the sound of a fan. You can hear that it is quite loud. It's got 2 settings, fast and slow. Doesn't bother me in the least. Oh, and this is a fantastic furniture 120mm mattress. It was 80 bucks. It's a little bit hard. It's fine. I sleep perfectly well in here. Cheap mattress, sorry, cheap pillow. It's not dirty, that's the pattern on it. And just a cheap doona from Target, I think. Kmart, Target, one of the two. And I think in total I spent about 60 bucks on bedding. This is very cheap. It's all just a standard single mattress. And that's my old van. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below and I'll try and get to them. Oh, also, comment a code word somewhere in this episode and I will give you a copy of my cookbook. Cheers.